Welcome, everybody. We are here to talk all about Instagram. There are so many different strategies that you can be using in order to get students. And a lot of people, they want to know, hey, Joanne, if you could tell me like that one strategy that just works best with getting students. Well, if I were to do that for you, I would be a miracle worker, because there is not just one strategy. It's really about figuring out what are all of the strategies that you are going to use to be able to get clients. If you focus just on one, you limit the opportunity to be able to get students. But sometimes we have to put all of our time into learning one so that we can get comfortable with using it, and then we can move on to the next one. Now, the women that I have here today, they have all started diving on into Instagram, and they're all at different places inside of their business, and they all have had some similar experiences with using Instagram and some different experiences with using Instagram. Every single one of these ladies has gone through Rock the Gram or worked with Esme Lozano, one of our coaches here, specifically to get their Instagram exactly where they want it to be so that it can do the work that it's meant to do. Because simply just having an Instagram account is not going to get you clients, okay? So you're going to hear some great secrets that they share. But if you are interested in learning more about like how can I grow this or how can I tweak it, there's a free training. It's called 4 Simple but Critical Tweaks to make to your Instagram account so that you can turn fans into followers. And we also have the Rock the Gram course that is going to start on Saturday. Doors are going to close tomorrow night. So if you're interested in either of those, go to the link, the description, and the links are inside of there. And I know that Beth will also throw in those different links. We've got Laurel's Learning Lab here. We are so glad that you are here. Welcome, Teresa Juarez. Woo woo. She is from California and she tutors elementary and middle school reading intervention and math. And Lisa Vincentino is excited today because she just made her first Teachers Pay Teachers sale. Woo woo. Oh, way to go, girl. That's awesome. And Esme is also joining us inside of the chat there inside of YouTube. So she gets to hear all of the lovely things that you guys get to say about her. So welcome all of you guys for joining us. And I'm just going to kind of go around and have you introduce who you are, where you're from, and what you specifically tutor. So we'll start with Ermela. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, Ermela.
Hello, everyone. I'm actually from South Africa after teaching a long time abroad in the Middle East. As you can hear, I'm not a real native speaker, but I'm a small children teacher, so they don't mind actually. So I teach on a company on the moment, a non-Chinese company, but I'm going solo now.
Nice.
And I started my Instagram now with Esme, and she made a lot of changes and we're working on that, so hopefully I can start soon with my solo career.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. We have Karen Rose here, and Karen is very special because her husband, Sheldon, who's inside of our community and is a math tutor, you know, social media just kind of isn't his thing. And he's got somebody in his life whose social media actually is her thing, and she's really good at it. So Karen has kind of joined on in to learn more about Instagram. So Karen, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, my name is Karen Rose, and I live in Florida near Fort Lauderdale. And my husband, Sheldon Rose, as Joanne said, is a math tutor who is not really a social media person, but wants to utilize social media for his business. And it has been successful for him. Right now, he only focuses on Facebook, Instagram, and a little bit of LinkedIn, but I'm the one that does that. And
Okay.
I am not a tutor, guys. I have to be honest. And my company is not well advertised yet, but it's templates for tutors. And basically it's so that we give you pre-made templates that you just put your content in and go. Because I even heard Ermela say, you know, she's still working. Don't keep working on it. My goal is that you should plow ahead. You can always change it later, but as soon as you have a presence, the better. And Shelley's success has been, in many ways, it's been through individual parents contacting. It's been through some students reaching out because he tutors higher math, high school. And it's also been from fellow tutors reaching out who want to not maybe lose the contact with the client, but want to have that client get the proper tutoring.
Yeah.
And he also works with other math tutors where they call him because they have overflow or they just need help or they just want to talk.
Yeah.
I have worked with Esme.
Awesome. Yay. And we got Daniela. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, Daniela.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. So it's Daniela from Accelerate Tutoring, and I tutor reading in grades kindergarten through sixth grade. And as everybody else shared, I I have worked with Esme, and she has been, I call her my angel. She was, I feel like, yes, like she was just there at the right moment when I really needed her help. Even from the very beginning of starting as an online tutor, we just connected through a group, and it's been just like she's been ahead of, like, many steps ahead of me. And she has been so sweet to always share. She's never kept the knowledge to herself, and she's always been there to guide the rest of us, right, and give us that wisdom through Instagram. So I'm so thankful that we get to connect with each other today. Thank you for inviting me and having us here.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you decided to join us. And we've got Angela Maya Moore as well.
Hi there. I'm from California and I tutor elementary writing. So I've kind of niched down to that. And Esme showed me just how to, like, even change your name is important on Instagram and how to be found. And so I'm Mrs. Moore underscore writing underscore tutor. So even that's, I think, helped. And I'm just going to piggyback what Daniela said as far as always being, taking her knowledge and breaking it down for us, and wanting us to succeed. She's genuinely just a great person that does want everybody to do well. And then I will say, as far as Karen Rose, you need to check out her templates, because that's what I'm doing. So anybody with Instagram, I'm finding out, like, there is so many pieces, whether you're going to do, videos or live, or just have like amazing posts and carousels. It does take a lot, away from your business. And so it is nice to have ready-made templates. So I'm using Karen for that. So the network, the community is just super supportive and fantastic. And like I said, I did take the course with Esme. I've been with her for over a year. So you do start to see results. You just keep putting in that hard work, and you will see it. And Instagram is a fun place. It is one of the many places that you kind of need to have your hands in when you're trying to grow your business. So thank you, Joanne, for inviting me too.
Yeah, you are welcome. And Sheldon joined us in the chat, so he's there watching you, Karen. He's making sure that you only say good stuff about him. And we've got Nana in the house. Welcome, Nana.
Hi, thank you.
Tell everybody a little bit more about yourself. I know you've got your little one in the background.
I'm so sorry about that.
That's okay.
So I'm Nana, and I teach math for mainly grades 3 to sort of 9th grade, 10th grade. So that's my sweet spot. And I really enjoy doing it. I've been using Instagram since August, like really using Instagram since August of last year. And I've seen like some growth. I've been watching Esme from afar. So I watched some of the videos that she did with you on YouTube, and I've been looking at her page and things like that. So I was learning from her through that. I also attended some of the mastermind classes that she did. I wasn't able to fully attend because of the noise you heard in the background. But yeah, I attended a few sessions, and I picked up a lot from her. So that has been really helpful. I've also, just like Angela, I've also been looking at the stuff that Karen Rose posts on Instagram. It's been really, really cool. So I've been learning from that as well. But yeah, I enjoy Instagram, and I've been trying different things.
Oh, I love it.
I have to share. I hired Nana from Instagram, just so you know. She was rocking it with those reels, and I hired her for my son to as a math tutor, and she was fabulous in that area too. So it is a small world, and the way she showed up on Instagram, she's just such a light in her personality, and it was just a great fit for him. So anyway.
But I want to make a shout out to Joanne, because I think honestly, had she not taken the step forward and really made an environment where it is inclusive to all, number one, and number two, she's a very sharing person. So You know, there's a lot of content that's given for free. There is a lot of content you need to pay for, but like with anything else, you get what you pay for. So yes, the free content is wonderful, and she's very giving in that way. I too believe in give, 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 because you will get. And I know that Esme lives by that creed as well. I can say Daniela does, and Armella, and I don't know you yet. I know Nana does, and I know you do, Angela. So it's Joanne has created this safe environment that is a learning environment. And because I'm not a tutor, I can say this from the outside. I am involved in business, you know, and I see the way she runs her business. So for anyone that's listening, if you have not taken the Roctogram, if you have not taken her Jump Start, you got to take the Jump Start. It's the only thing that makes you jump off the cliff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to keep saying, what if, what if, what if, what if does not bring you full-time business. So, you know, that's what you need to know. So now I'm done.
Aw, thank you, Karen. That's really sweet. And you know, it's amazing because like there's only so much that you can be an expert in, you know, and I think that's what one of the things that I've really realized with growing my tutoring business is I've always been a dipper into Instagram. I had never really used Instagram to like fully commit because my real strengths have always been YouTube, and they have been my Facebook group. Like those have been my real strengths, and my email marketing. So I really put a lot, like when it comes to helping tutors, those three areas. And just recently, because I knew I was a dipper, I actually did hire somebody as well to kind of take over my Instagram so that I could be more consistent with my Instagram presence. And so just know that there are things that you can do. Like in the beginning, it's great to learn all of this stuff yourself because you don't know what to even look for. If you decide I am going to hire this out later on, you don't know what to look for that is going to be good if you just try to hire somebody. Like you don't know anything. So how can you tell that the person that you're hiring is going to be the best fit? So those are some things to kind of keep in mind if you're like, you're so frustrated because you're like, oh my gosh, like how do I keep creating all of this content, you know, work with all of my students and make sure that I'm getting some movement with getting new clients. You know, as it can be so much and it can be so overwhelming. If you ever get to that overwhelmed point, you guys, just put it away for the night and come back to it the next day. Do not leave it long term. Like I promise you in the next day, you will feel refreshed and you'll be able to work a lot quicker. So keep learning yourself. And that's what we have created inside of the Insider Secrets Club is we've created a learning environment for people. And many of these people are inside of the mastermind group that Esme runs inside of our community to have a co-working space. It's a mastermind co-working space where people, they learn like one thing and then they put it into practice and then they share and they talk about it and then they go from there. So I'd love to hear like has your experience been with going kind of through that process, like learning, doing, getting feedback. I'll let anybody jump in. Angela, you're already unmuted.
Okay. Yes. I will jump in. I will say that just for anybody out there that, like you said, is doing the juggle, Nana, with your children. When I was doing this originally, it wasn't 100% commitment. It was just kind of like learning it, but not really trying it on because just that's where I was at the time. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have a presence consistently. But then when I committed to it, so I've taken, her mastermind class a few times because then this, and had just stuck with it. So I'm a long-termer. So I, once I committed to actually, setting a schedule, saying this is how many times I'm going to show up weekly and just honoring that, I think that's when the movement started to happen. Mm-hmm. So just like you, Joanne, I was just kind of like, just learning, but not trying it on. And you really have to do both. Yeah. And I think the community, since you wanted to talk about that, it is great because every week I would say, okay, I can't come back empty handed. Like I have to be able to share because as a coach, you know, a teacher, she is looking at us and she's giving us feedback on our things inside the course. So there is that accountability to keep moving, you know, in a gentle way too, because we, you know, everybody is where they're at in their business. So anyway, so yes, I love the accountability. It's really helped me because I know I can't come back next Tuesday without having done, you know, X, Y, and Z. So
Yeah. And what I like too is that like you guys are also commenting on each other's stuff. So like I follow all of you guys on Instagram. You probably don't know it, and I'm actually liking a lot of your stuff that I see when it comes through. But you're also connected with the other people inside of your mastermind who are also seeing your stuff. They're commenting, so it doesn't feel like you're talking to no one. And I gotta tell you, that's like nothing is worse than like putting your time into something and then like it's crickets. Nobody says anything. Nobody's commenting. Nobody's liking. You're like, I put all that time in there. Nobody liked or did anything. It feels so like. But when you work with other people on this, amazing things can happen. Now I know, Angela, something about you. Somebody hired you because you spoke to them. Specifically, they're like, you showed up in a way I haven't seen you show up yet with somebody inside of the group, and they ended up hiring you to work with their child, I believe.
Yes. So that was fabulous. So that's what I was talking about with Instagram. So whether you get, you know, leads from strangers or leads from inside your group, but everyone is looking at you, and especially tutors, your coworkers, because that's kind of like how I see this. And so it is really exciting for them, because, you know, oh my goodness, they tutor too. So they're probably their level of you know, wanting expertise and knowing what they're looking for. So when another tutor hires you, I think it's even more special because, like I said, we have high standards, but it is fun. You do start looking for like Daniela and Nana and like people that, you know, you're like, and they motivate you too. So even Joanne, when I see your posts, it's like, you're always like, you know, that's the first thing. It's like, I want to go to the people I know. I have them on my stories. So it's right there. So it is really fun. And yes, that is the way, is just to put yourself out there, start speaking, and, you know, letting people, clients, colleagues start to trust you. And eventually those leads do come in. So it all pays off. You got to just stick with it.
That is really the key, isn't it? It's the consistency. Like,
yes.
And now I know, Danielle, we were kind of talking about this, I think, ahead of time, that when you first started using Instagram, you didn't get students for a really long time. Tell us about that.
Yes, so it's been about 2 years since because of you, I heard I had no interest to go into Instagram, but when I heard through your group that, you know, that it's an opportunity for us to, you know, get known by people, I said, okay, let me create the account. And it was there for a few months with nothing there. And every time I would try to think about, okay, what am I going to post? How? I have no idea where to even press. I remember calling my sister and saying, okay, I don't know, like, what do I press? What is this? What's a hashtag?
Yeah.
And she was just laughing. So, you know, that's how I felt for a couple of months. And then when I started to hear that there was a mastermind that was going to help me with that, and I just thought it was, oh my goodness, yes, answer prayer. And I went and I started attending just like, you know, everybody else. And it was just, as Angela was saying, like, I felt like every time it was like, okay, little steps that I can take to help me do it. But it did take a while because I wasn't fully committed, just as some of you are saying, that I was taking the steps, but I felt overwhelmed. So I would take like one step, and then I would, just as you said, Joanne, I would feel overwhelmed and I would leave it for a while. Like, let me come back next month, but that's not good. Like, you really have to take a little break, but go back right after. And I wasn't doing that. So I would, you know, I started to post, but it was like once in, you know, one post, and then the next month, and the next 2 months. And it wasn't growing. Of course, I wasn't hearing from anybody. So I would say about maybe 6 months ago, I started to feel like, you know, I need to do something different. I'm like, things are not going to change just by me sitting here and not taking any steps. So I continued attending the mastermind and also the Rock the Gram. And taking the steps and really making sure that I am trying to apply everything that we're working on, because as we have the accountability with each other, you do see the other tutors commenting and you know, kind of helping you feel a little encouraged, like you're not by yourself doing this, right? So I felt all that encouragement, and I said, I can keep going. Esme has been awesome. Like, I feel like she has that way of identifying the strength in each of us, right? Like, as a coach, as you, Joanne, can see that as well. And she told me, you know, you're good with videos, like really pursue that. And at first I was like, I don't know about that. But when I started to actually take the, you know, take the step of faith, okay, let me try it. Let's see how it goes. Then I started to see like, oh, wow, I can do this. It's not that hard. If I record myself and I save it as a draft, you know, taking little steps. And yes, eventually I started to hear from people. I started to get a message. Oh, I want to know about your tutoring services. Then I have people that maybe they were referred from someone I know, but they went to my Instagram. Oh, I can't believe you have videos there. You're posting reels. And you know, it was like I started to see the fruit, and I said, okay, I have to keep on going, even though I'm busy. Yes, I'm tutoring a lot of students, but I have to keep going so that people know that I'm still here.
Yeah.
So it's been like that pretty much. And I would say within the past 3 months is where I really have been seeing the most of the, you know, the fruit from all of this previous 2 years that have, you know, it has been a journey. And, you know, I want to continue to grow and continue to learn, because there's always something new, right? That you can continue to get to the next step.
So Joanne, you know the book, right? I'm reading for the second time the book by Darren Hardy, but the name keeps escaping me. What's it called?
It is called The Compound Effect.
Thank you. So, you have right on your desk. So this is the second time I'm reading it, and I have read about 50 to 75 self-improvement books throughout my lifetime because I'm very into that. And when you read that book, he writes so simply, but the biggest thing is accountability and to make habits and to show up for yourself. So what I did was, and remember, I am not a tutor. What I did was I decided, I'm all over the place constantly. I'm really busy. I work full time and I have a big position. So it engulfs me. But what I did was I spoke to Esme and I said to her, listen, I'm going to do the power hour thing because we need to get my content creation down. So in addition to showing up, I think what's critical is to figure out your content, know what you need to say. And once you know what you have to say, then you won't keep dilly-dallying over getting out there. You'll know what to do. So she and I did an hour. And after the first hour, we both started laughing because we knew we needed to continue. And I always talk about this, and poor Esme, but not poor Esme. Lots of people keep signing up for these power hours. But I feel like if you put your toe in, just stick your whole foot in and just get it done, right? You need to be focused. And then with masterminds, you know, let's be honest, I really don't have to hear Esme keep saying the same thing. But the reason that I do in a mastermind, and she knows this, I reserve that time on my calendar where nobody is to disturb me twice a week while I meet with her and others, so that I can be, number one, supportive of her because she's doing this for us for free. And number two, so that I can, again, have community, listen, learn from others, and help others. So I feel that everybody that took the time to be on this call today does not have an ulterior motive, but rather we are here because we want to share and encourage everybody to keep showing up. But you must show up.
Yeah.
That's how you get it. It's like through osmosis, but you can't get it unless you're there.
Right. And those of you guys that are following us in the chat that are on Instagram, put your Instagram handle inside of there. We want to be able to follow you as well. That's how we get to know you even a little bit more, because we get to get a little inside peek into, you know, what's going on with your business, and we all get ideas from each other too. So on different types of posts, because it can get kind of get stagnant sometimes, and you think, well, what kind of post can I post today, right? But you can get ideas from other people on a type of content that you can post. So it's staying connected. And those kinds of things are so helpful. Now I know Ermela wants to share a little bit here, so tell us. I know that I feel like there were so many times that you could like jump on in, but you're like holding yourself back.
I actually wanted to say yes to all the others what they're saying. The main thing is I actually stumbled on to you guys on Instagram, Jana, you, the online tutor, and Esme. And then I get hold of Esme and we started. I just started my business Instagram. I have a personal one, but I'm making it different ones so that I can focus directly. My own personal one is actually my travel Instagram.
Okay.
So yeah, so it was totally new for me, totally. I think lying on your couch through the pandemic is the time to think more into the future, what to be and what not to do. I went from a full-time teacher for 30 plus years, in-class teacher, to tutoring now. Totally different. I'm not into marketing. I'm not into all this stuff. And I said to Esme every time, oh, there's a light bulb moment. It's really, it is like I stumble through the things and I climb, and I have to make time for this every morning. I'm a morning person. So while I'm drinking my coffee, I sit and learn something new. I'm learning now how to make reels. I made one, how long ago, accidentally, and it was the most viewed of all my posts on Instagram. So I realized, I said to MC, this is my next light bulb moment. It's this making reels and think, what am I going to say and do, you know? So I'm not used to this. I'm a in-class teacher that does a curriculum and we go on and do stuff. I'm not there for marketing. There was a marketing team in school. So yes, totally different. And websites, and I created a website, but now with Esme, it's like, do I need one if I have my bio and my this and this form and this, and you know, do I need a website? You know, it's not really necessary because I don't even go there anymore. So yes.
Yeah, it is a way though for people to easily find you on Google, and which is a different strategy, right? In Google My Business, you can't put like your Instagram account. People are going to visit your Instagram account from your Google My Business. It will help with the local searches, and it will also help over time when you create content of getting found as well. So a website is still pivotal. Is it necessary in order to get that first student? No. Is it necessary to get the second or third student? No, absolutely not. I've had people who've gotten 10, 15, 20 students without having a website, but the website is going to help you with definitely when people want to say they want to refer you, they'll be like, hey Joanne, what's your website? And I could say, here's my website, and they can pass it on to that one person to take a look at, right? So, you know, referral, word of mouth, all those kinds of things, it really helps with, you know, to have like on your emails that you send on out, you know, your website that's on there, it looks professional. So we're showing up in a very different way when we're doing our marketing. You know, here's one of the things that I learned in the very beginning, you guys. When I started looking at like, should I work for another business or should I, you know, start my own business? You know, my husband's like, you need to go work for another business so you can see how to actually run your business. And so I looked at a company locally, and they were going to pay me $10 to $15 an hour. I don't know about you guys, but to go to Marquette University to become a teacher was extremely expensive. And you're telling me that I can get paid the same as a high school student for a part-time job? Like, I never even needed my career. I don't even need any knowledge on how to help and teach kids. For me, it was almost like a slap in the face. And I was like, okay, what is the difference between them and me? And it came down to one thing. They know how to market my services, and I don't. And so when I went to realizing that, I could learn how to market my services, all of a sudden everything changed, because now I could get paid the full amount that I was worth. And I started charging $40 an hour because they were charging $50. And I was like, well, maybe if I charge a little less than them, people will want to move forward with me, which really had nothing to do with it. It was just my comfortability at that time and what to charge. and as time went on, I was able to increase my rates and not have to share any of the profit. And I think that's the beautiful thing here. Instagram gives you that opportunity to start stepping away from other companies and platforms. Your website gives you that opportunity as well, because now you are getting involved in that marketing. Does it take time? Absolutely. But I think that's a beautiful part about this, our community, is that it is a place where you guys can be supported while you learn how to do that. And then you get to keep all of the profits that come from that. And, when it comes to Instagram, if you do have other tutors that are following you on Instagram, never be like so many people are like, yeah, the only people following me on Instagram are other tutors. That's it. Like, I don't have anybody else. But you know what? Here's what's happening. You're engaging on the platform and you're learning about the platform in a safe way, right? Wouldn't it be weird all of a sudden, like, random people that you don't know started like saying things or questioning you or commenting? That might feel weird, and it might actually push you off the platform if those kinds of things were happening. Whereas when you are following other tutors and they're following you and you get to engage with them, you are building networking relationships with people who have the opportunity to refer you if you speak to them in a way that speaks to them. And that's what we teach you how to do. Like, what do you say? How do you show up? What kinds of posts do you make? How do you do reels? What are reels? What are stories? What are those highlights? What is the bio? Like, how much of a difference does my bio make? What should be in my bio? Right? Like, all of these things, we don't know what we don't know when we get started. And just diving on into the platform with no background knowledge, you're not going to get the kinds of results that you're hoping for. And so make sure that wherever you decide to learn the information, that you do learn the information on how to use Instagram, because it is a powerful, powerful tool. And that's what we do inside of Rock the Gram. So some of you who are wondering, Rock the Gram is already a self-recorded course that you can go through and really understand the lingo of the platform. What does this mean? What are the hashtags? How many hashtags can I use? Like, all of those kinds of things. What kinds of hashtags should I use? What kinds of posts should I make? How did I determine what to post? What's the difference between the highlights, the reels, and the stories? All of those things. We go through all of that to really break it down for you. But then I think the best part is, while you're going through that content on your own, Esme's guiding you through the process, one step at a time. And the first thing she starts with is that bio. Let's take a look at that bio and let's get that written. And because we sit on those kinds of things and we don't have an effective bio. So how has your bio that you guys have created with Esme, how has that kind of changed your Instagram presence for you? Yeah, Angela.
For Shelley, I'm sorry, Ange. For Shelley's, I am modifying it again, and I modify it every 3 to 4 weeks. So I leave it up there for a while, and then I change a few things. Like right now, I noticed that we're repeating the word algebra twice. It's up in the top because it's important that your name calls out what you do. But it was within the bottom part as well. And instead of wasting those characters, that's coming out. So every 3 to 4 weeks, I do a deep dive and I look at it, and then I do a bit of modification on it.
Nice.
And that helps.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say Esme really targeted mine and really helped me to just, again, I just had like a lot of words. I wasn't really direct and focused. So I think that's what, a really good bio, because you do have that limited amount of characters to be really spot on, calling it out. She walks you through it. Everybody checks it out. We write together. I mean, it's amazing too, when we have that day designated for, getting that done.
Yeah.
So yeah, mine is definitely a lot more clear, focused.
Yeah.
So.
Let's talk about that image. The image we use. Some people like to put a logo there. And I know Esme is totally against putting a logo there, as I have always been putting a logo there, because a logo is not relational, right? I don't have a relationship with a logo. I'm not Nike. I'm not McDonald's. I'm not Starbucks. I'm a person. I'm an individual. So Do each of you have your own photo on up there of yourself?
Oh, yes, I have one.
Good.
And I have my doll with me on my puppet.
Oh, I love
So
it.
yes, so everyone can see what I'm doing.
Yes,
I'm working
yeah.
with little children.
Sure,
Yes.
that's
So
great. And that really that's amazing how that just speaks to what you do a little bit more. Like if I were working with somebody like on ACT, like maybe having out like an ACT book, might be something. Or if I'm helping people with difficult math, like Sheldon, maybe I have a picture with me holding one of those. I don't know, do they still use those kind of calculators? You guys, I've been out for a really long time. Okay, so they still use like the graphing calculators and stuff. Okay, so like having a graphing calculator in front of you, like that would help you like stand out as well, which
But really the picture, Joanne, it's the picture.
it is.
Because in your post, you can post yourself holding the book, you can post yourself
Sure.
holding the calculator or whatever. But in your actual picture, when people are thumbing through and they see that picture, they know it's you, right?
Yeah.
And there's something distinct about every human being that touches some other human beings. And I think you got to remember that there are millions of people on the internet. So that's why I always say jump in, because in the beginning, because my nature is to be perfect at everything, you should see how long it took me to do a post.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that thing through 90 which ways to Sunday, but the truth is, put it out there and have your picture, because when people see your picture, that speaks volumes.
And use the same picture on all of your platforms. No matter what you do, I cannot tell you how confusing it is for me if you're using a different picture on Instagram than Facebook, than LinkedIn. You don't realize how different you look. You know that, like, I'm the same person, right? Here, here, and here. One is my hair down, one is my hair up, one is this or that. It gets confusing for people to keep track of who you are, right? And so that consistency with whatever profile picture you use, make sure to change it and use it in every platform, whether it's Instagram or LinkedIn, your website, those kinds of things. It'll just make you easier for people to point, like, to find. Just like your logo would do that too if you were a larger business. Your logo could do the same exact thing, right? Like people would see that big M and be like McDonald's, or they'd see the sea serpent and think Starbucks, right? So I think that's something to really think about when people are relating to us. If I'm changing my face and I'm changing my photo, I am making it very complicated for people to follow me online. And we are really creating an online presence. You're creating an online presence so that people can find you from all over the world. Lots of people don't want to just stick with people that are just in, their, local area. Online, you have access to the entire world, and people will find you from all over the world inside of Instagram. So people always ask me, well, how do you get like different clients from different time zones? And I know you guys have been working on a little trick with location for people to be able to find them. And that is, when you get a new student, being able to post where that student is from and kind of banking on that location of different time zones. So there are some tricks, you guys, out there, aren't there? I love it. I love it. Well, I'm curious though, like before you started Instagram, what stopped you from Instagram? Did you have any fears or things that kind of stopped you from using the platform?
For me, it was lack of knowledge, number one. And number two, the fact that being older, I'm used to conventional advertising, as is Shelley. And in my job that I was doing full time, I had a full marketing department working for me. So I never had to deal with any of it. And I never wanted to. So when I actually credit Shelley with finding Joanne. I don't know where he found her, but he did, and raving about her till I said, oh yeah, I don't want to hear about her anymore. Just pay for the stuff and do it. And then of course, after he signed in, he didn't really do the whole program. Instead, I had to do it. And everybody was wondering why there were two roses showing up until finally, I told them why I was there, and Esme laughed and she explained it to Joanne. So I just guess it was lack of knowledge,
Yeah.
And even now, there's a lot of social platforms that I don't truly understand, but now I'm not afraid to go on. And if you make a mistake, nobody knows anyway, because there's millions of people out there. Although for me now, I can't really make a mistake because people do look at my stuff. Right.
Right. Yeah. And
Right.
you have to realize, you guys, every social media tool has a different vibe.
Mhm.
And a different way of doing business. So I had somebody who was working with me at one point, one-on-one, and they took the whole idea of the 30 hashtags that you can use on Instagram, and they began and using emojis and those kinds of things like you can easily do on Instagram, and they applied it to LinkedIn. No. LinkedIn is like the black tie of the social media world. You cannot use emojis so freely. You can't use as many hashtags. And so it's like you do have to understand some of these intricacies between the different social medias. Definitely don't be afraid to go on out there and try it, but also make sure that you are just educating yourself so that you do have that ability to get found, that it's not a waste of your time. If you're going to put in the time, you want that time to result in being able to get clients. And that is really going to be key. Nana, when you jumped into Instagram before that, did you have any fears, or were you already kind of a native Instagrammer?
For me, I would say, I think just putting myself out there on social media, I think that was the biggest thing that I had to overcome, especially because I knew like I would have like my friends seeing it and stuff, and I just felt like it was a bit awkward. So that initial like fear or concern I had to kind of overcome. But at some point I decided that I was just gonna go for it, and even if I looked silly on video, it's fine. Like if I get a client, I mean, that brings money, so money over whatever I felt at the time. So that kind of encouraged me to kind of go for it. But I started Instagram early because I technically started my business like officially last year. And so I started it with the Instagram.
Good.
Kind of early. So that was, that's what I would say. But in terms of like just other difficult things, it was just like trying, especially reels. For instance, I always felt like I watched reels from other people, and then I always felt like, mine can't be as good as theirs, right? Because I watched so many of them, and some of them are really good, and I thought, well, what am I going to do? Especially because it's like math, right? What am I going to do that's going to interest people? And how am I going to make reels in math? That's really weird. So that was hard in the beginning, but I tried a few things. I mean, some things weren't that successful and other things were successful. And then I learned from that, and I've been continuing to grow that since.
Yeah. Oh, and have you been able to get any students via Instagram yet?
So I would say I worked with Angela's son. So that was for 2
Then
sessions.
yes.
But also, which was a huge surprise to me, I got a student. It was for a short time, but it was through a woman in Canada who had been seeing my reels and stuff and who really liked it. She's been following me, I guess. And then she hired me to tutor her daughter. So that was good, because I was about to give up on Instagram when that happened. And then when that happened, I was like, oh, so maybe there's a strategy to this that I haven't tapped into yet. So that kind of encouraged me.
And I have to say, you don't know this, Nana, but because I kept seeing you in the reels when I would go on in, that is what kept you at top of mind when it came to referring Yusuf to you specifically. So sometimes we don't even realize that a client is coming to you, or that your presence somewhere is influencing people to make that referral, or to take that next step to hire you. A lot of times we don't even realize that as we go through this process. So so there you go. So it's definitely working, and it's getting in front of people who can actually make a difference, and with the amount of students that we have. So it's awesome. How many who else has been able to get students via Instagram? Yeah, Karen has helped Sheldon get some students via Instagram. Tell us about that, Karen.
Shelly has a lot of personal referrals because he's been tutoring for a couple of decades, but his online tutoring really picked up during the pandemic because he could not go out. He used to have a physical office and he decided to let it go. All of his students transitioned. So through Instagram and people watching and people, referring, he has helped. Well, he helped Esme's son actually prepare for his ACTs in math. He has worked with different families, just their child, for different math issues for high school math. He has helped several tutoring services where they either lost their math tutor or they were not completely pleased. And, he took on one service where he helped 6 of their students. He had another service where he helped 4 of them. And when he helps students, he always works in blocks. So it's never just like 1 or 2 hours. It's usually extended because, they're very comfortable with him. So, Instagram has been great that way. It's a real time issue based on how much time we have to put in it to do the proper marketing. But again, I think it was Angela who said, and it's so true, or maybe it was Ermela, you commit to, it might have been Daniela, you commit to days. You commit, okay, I want to show up twice this week. I want to show up 3 times this week. I mean, I did the month of February and March where except for the last week and a half of March, I showed up every single day, except for 1 day a week. So it was 6 days a week with posting and then stories twice a day for that entire period of time. I want to tell you guys that the number of students did not increase. So this is proof positive you don't have to kill yourself, right? And the Instagram platform is one where as long as you show up, it's good. And when people start to look for you, the thing about having your picture, maybe a colored background to it, they will always know it's you. And in your post, you have to be consistent. There are 2 tutors that come to mind that use turquoise and orange. Definitely not a combination that I would ever use. However, I always know it's them.
Yeah.
And the moment that color flies past me, I like it. Joanne has chosen a royal purple. As soon as she started to show up, which wasn't that long ago, because now she's consistent. When she was not consistent, I didn't even see her. Once she became consistent, I think all of you will agree, you see that purple, you know it's the ponytail, you know it's Joanne, so you will read it and click it, right? And give support and love. That's what we need to do. And every time you do that, that elevates you in Instagram. And that's why, I tell everyone, just pick, you want to post once a week, post once a week. Just be consistent and keep showing up because you don't need to hire a social media manager unless you're really, really, really busy.
Right.
But the Instagram can be good to you if you are good to it, is kind of the way I look at it.
And it's about engagement, isn't it? It is about engaging in the platform, right? It's not just about just showing up and posting your stuff, post. Half of your time, if not more, should be looking at other people's stuff, commenting, double clicking, liking, offering feedback. But again, it's also a learning opportunity while you're doing that too, because you're getting ideas like, oh, I like how she did that. Maybe I could do something like that, right? Because there's certain formats and stuff that people use for videos and reels that, where people are like pointing, right? You're like, oh, I could do one of those pointing, videos, right?
But if you want the truth about social media, guys, you must post before you post, meaning you must respond to others before you post, then you post, and then you must respond to others after you post. It's not a one and done. So yes, there's a commitment, right? That's why having pre-made stuff is easier for you, but you go on, you look, you start looking at your feed, you start liking and commenting, then you stop a moment, you post your stuff or you have it scheduled, and then you go back in there after you finish and you do it again. If you did that once a week, right, and you're touching 20 times, because let's say you do 10 posts and then 10, that's the ticket. And people don't do it. They post their post and goodbye and good luck. Doesn't work.
Yep. Yeah, you have to be there and you have to be present. And actually, it's one of the wonderful things that I do have with my social media person is she like messages me like right away, like, "Hey, Joanne, you've got a message from this person, or you know, how would you comment to this, or how would you respond to this?" So then I go right on in, and I'm like, "Oh, okay," and I comment. It is all about like timing too, because people want to feel like it's real time, and that it's not like 3 or 4 hours later that you're commenting. I'm not the best at that all the time, but you know what? You don't have to be the best at it in order to be successful at it. I know, Danielle, you've gotten some students with Instagram. Tell us about that.
Yes, so they're like recently, because again in the beginning through everything it was harder. I was also about to give up. I'm like, okay, I'm doing all this stuff, it's not working. And then when you start getting the message there, it was like, oh my goodness. I had one so who contacted me, but originally she found me through the Impact conference, through your conference, and I guess they connected through Instagram or something like that. And I was so, surprised and like pleasantly surprised. And the student is from Georgia. So I was so happy because it was like, oh my goodness. And it's from, a student from another state, which is my first one. All my other students are from like local areas in New York, like, far away, but still, New York. So that one was my first, student from outside. And I was so happy, I posted, I was like celebrating because it really gives me that opportunity. What are the odds I will be able to, teach somebody there? And in this way, because this, the people get to see you, as everybody's saying, you have that consistency. And again, I'm not posting every day. I really don't have time. Something I was going to say before too is that what I'm learning is that yes, we're there as a business, but we're also there as consumers, right? So you get to connect. Like for me, everybody has different things that speak to you. Some, it might be healthy, healthy eating. For me, I'm a homeschool mom. So whenever I see other people who are homeschoolers and they're posting, yes, I get ideas for how I can also promote my business, but I also learn from them. So I'm like, wow, what is she doing? She's reading those books with their children. So I message them, not about my business. I message them about learning through that. And even that has been connections for me with my tutoring, because then I get to share, like, through just an organic way, it's very natural. They ask me, what do you do? I tell them I'm a tutor, but it's not like, that was not the purpose at all. It was just literally, I'm there on Instagram checking out their stuff. I follow other people who are, into, different like healthy trends. So through that too, it becomes an opportunity, right? You're chatting with people and you're talking about each other's lives. So I feel like in the beginning, it was more like what Karen was saying. I would just post and like, good luck. So that was me, Karen. Post and goodbye. I'm busy now. But no, it's beyond that. It doesn't have to be a whole day. It literally can be just, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes before you go to bed, but you're kind of engaging with, the platform and going beyond just you, because I feel like it's more natural in that way, right? When you can connect through just even the opportunities that come from messaging each other, liking somebody else, and even teachers too, not just the tutors. Like I go and I follow accounts that are teachers who are just sharing and being able to even, talk to them and encourage them as teachers who are going in their own process. So I don't know if that answers the question. I'm sorry, but yes, that's something I wanted to share.
No, I think it's fantastic. Like people have to know that this isn't just all about you. Well, you can go on there, right? You were showing up authentically when you were really going on in for like some of those homeschooling other families and the books that they're reading. You were authentically having conversations with you, and they do have that opportunity then to click on your profile and see what it is that you do. But at the same time, they don't feel like you were really pushing that down their throat. Like, hey, if your kid is struggling, I can help, and all that kind of stuff. It was you just showing up authentically. And so that's what we just say that you need to do. Like start engaging on the platform, even if you don't want to post anything for a while. You just want to see, how does this platform work? Start following some of the tutors in the community inside of the Ultimate Support Group, all those kinds of things. I think you're going to find some amazing relationships that can begin to boom and bud and bloom. So fantastic. For those of you guys, how many of you guys went through the Rock the Gram course and the support with Esme? Awesome. What for somebody who's kind of like on the fence and they're kind of wondering, like, should I join Rock the Gram? Shouldn't I join Rock the Gram? What would you say to them?
I would say if you want to get started in the right way, so you don't have to redo everything, you should take the Rock the Gram, because you will start from the beginning and you will get it done right the first time.
Oh my gosh,
Because
so
nothing
cool.
is right. Nothing is more frustrating than doing what you think is right, not having results, throwing your hands up and I'm all done, I'm over this. And then you find, oh, wait, I could have taken this program. I could have invested in myself, right? Because that's what this is about. And then after you invest in yourself and you start to learn, you get all this support for free after. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to invest in yourself, guys. That's all there is to it. And I'm not speaking from the point of view of, okay, I have all this money and I want to throw it around. But I can honestly tell you that I have spent every year several $1,000s investing in myself,
Yeah.
whether it's, you know, to make me a better person, whether it's to help me understand business, whether it's to learn something like Esme's program or what Joanne does. I mean,
Yeah.
constantly, you have to do that, because otherwise, why are you forming a business? Really, you
Right.
want to do better for your family, right? And so, or yourself.
Yeah, and
So
it's
you
it's
gotta
investing
invest.
wisely, because it's
Mhm.
not just about like investing. Like here, these are opportunities to make money, right? When you do it the wrong way, it may or may not work. It's kind of a crapshoot, right? But
And there
sorry.
are a lot of programs out there, okay? And I know you get inundated. The minute you go on Facebook or Instagram and you look up learning social media, learning Instagram, you're going to get bombarded. And I have that on a daily basis. Shelly screams because he has access to all my emails. And honestly, I have thousands and thousands of them. But you know what? When I read something, I investigate it. And when I investigated Joanne, after he had already paid her, okay, fine. But still, I realized, okay, this is the real deal. And when I looked into Esme, I felt the same way.
Yeah.
And so you need to be comfortable. You need to really delve in and make a decision, and then stick with it all the way. That's
Mhm.
all.
Yep.
Just stick with it. It'll take you to where you're supposed to go.
Yep.
Just you'll get there, and everyone reaches that line at a different point, right?
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And so we have to think about, like, I always used to think about, like, what is the next thing that I need to learn, and how can I learn that? Like, what is the process for me to be able to learn that? Are there podcasts that I could listen to? Are there books that I could read? And it's really hard with social media to get current books. Like, it has to be like produced practically this year. Otherwise, it's like outdated already. Things are just changing that quickly today. But is there a course that I need to take? Like, those are the things that I kind of examine, or maybe it's all of the above, or whatever the case may be. Really think, like, create a good situation for yourself. Olga asked a great question. Would you use your own Instagram account to create one for business purposes? Create one for business purposes. Create a business account. You definitely want to create your business account. So, and I think you're going to be more happy creating a business account, because, like Nana mentioned, it felt really weird to kind of have these messages out there and her friends see them all. And it's okay. Like, if her friends like her business, cool, then they're kind of opting into that. But if they don't, and she doesn't have a business account, it might start to feel kind of weird for you and a little bit weird for them. And I tell everybody I tell anybody who likes me on Instagram, I don't have a personal Instagram, just so that you know, like, if I'm on Instagram, I'm on my business account. So I tell the people that I know that ahead of time. So if you see a whole bunch of stuff that looks like I'm supporting tutors, that's usually the reason why I'm going on to Instagram, is to help and support them. So please don't think weird of me or whatever. Like, I just give them that little heads up. I had one person who said to me one time, I feel like you're always trying to sell me on becoming a tutor. I'm like thinking, yeah, it's because I really just don't like engage in social media too much without trying to be of service and help other people. So if you somehow joined my connections that way, like, sorry, that's what you're going to hear, because that's what I do. Daniela, Angela, I know you've gone through the whole Rock the Gram course before. What would you say to somebody who's kind of on the fence with it?
Okay, so I didn't do the Rock the Gram. I've been with
Gotcha.
I was with Esme before she even did Rock the Gram. So I was with her in the very beginning with the mastermind. And so that's why I've had to I've watched her grow.
Yes.
And so I was with her from the very beginning, and I've stayed with her, much like Karen said. It's because I love her, the accountability. I love the group. I love seeing Karen, I love seeing Danielle, I love seeing the familiar faces. But So she had done that, and then it's in because I'm a insider club, so I have access to it, but I didn't do it like live.
Sure.
But I have gone back and looked at it, but I've stayed with her because, again, she constantly learns stuff and, takes her education really seriously. And she's always, pouring right back into us. So there's always something new to find out. And that's why I've stayed with her too. So, but I would say it is a must. I would say rock the gram, the fact that she was able to, like Karen said, put it in a course and then simultaneously get into whenever that next one starts, or jump in whenever, because I know, Joanne, you're very, open, the communities, the masterminds that are all going on. But jump in and have that accountability and have that networking and have just, coworkers, colleagues, to look at your stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really, really important. I wouldn't have done it just solo, because I'm not a social media person. Even in my private life, I might post my kids' vacation, but I've kept it very separate. So for me, it was really important that I had separate things, because I don't post a lot about my kids or my family. I feel like that's that's just kind of like, they know I'm a home, I homeschooled my kids at that time, and I've done some things, but it's not, definitely have 2 accounts.
Yeah.
That's what I would recommend. You're showing up in a different way for your business. And then, like, those personal people can then find you and like you and share. But I highly recommend that you do 2 accounts.
Yeah, for sure.
And Esme, for sure.
Yeah.
And
she's the real deal.
And don't feel that you have to accept everyone don't feel that you have to follow everyone who decides to follow you, because honestly, I didn't tell anybody in the family about templates for tutors, nor did I tell anyone at the university where I work. And you should see every single day that account is slammed. Literally, there have been well over 200 people who have asked me, they want to follow and they want me to follow them. And no, this is not for fun. This is business, right? And you will show up personally on your business, like all of us. We put happy thoughts, we put certain things, but the way we show up there is not the way you would show up personally. And Joanne, just so you know, I did not have Instagram before. One of my students decided to create an account for me, and that's why that's there. That's I think it's Mama Rose, South Florida, or Mama Rose, Florida. And then for Facebook, the same thing happened. So just go with your own common sense, right? That's what you got to do. And it'll happen for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Any final thoughts about Rock the Gram or support from Esme that you guys would like to add? Yeah, Daniela.
So I was going to say, for me, it was the same as Angela. Everything you said, pretty much the same for me. But one of the things that I would say is, if you are on the fence, if you're not sure and you want to get a little taste, you can come and join us on Clubhouse, because we have on Saturday mornings, I know it's kind of early, but we do meet with Karen. That's been amazing. I feel like it's like I look forward to it. And we talk about different things that are going to help us with Instagram. So if you want to see like how it would be, come and join us at 8 a.m. for Central Time, I believe. And for me, Eastern Time, it's 9 a.m. And we have fun together. We can ask questions. We talk about different things. Esme posts, I get the topic ahead, so you can come up with any questions that you might have, and then get a little taste of what it is to work with her, to talk to her. And then you can decide then to join the rest of the courses. So that might be a good idea to do. Definitely.
And we have fun, and it's interactive. You can get on there and you talk too. You could say what you want to say and ask your questions. It's fun.
Yeah, and there's now the ability to actually even type your questions in without having to get on the stage, which is kind of nice, because a lot of people sometimes don't want to get on stage and do that, but now they have that ability to do that. So I think that's even really cool too. So so thank you so much, you guys, for joining us today and sharing what your experience has been on the Instagram platform. How has it helped to grow your tutoring business, your experience going through the program and working with Esme and all of those kinds of things. Thank you so much for taking your time out to share all about that. Daniela or Karen, I know that you guys have a group. What is the name of the group that people should join if they want to join that Saturday call?
It's called Instagram for I can speak right now. Instagram for online tutors, right?
Perfect.
Karen? I did it right. Yes.
Awesome. So join that group inside of there. I know I'll be joining it today because I think that's a fantastic, awesome opportunity. So thanks you guys so much for joining us today, and we will